Oh my gosh. Y'all, just when you thought the drama was done, we're back with even more juicy tea. You won't believe what's been going on behind the scenes after Martin got canceled, and guess who's been hustling in the most unexpected way? Carl Payne, aka the hilarious Cole Brown, is out here selling used cars and co-parenting with none other than Bobby Brown. Trust me, this story is way deeper than just Hollywood fame gone wrong. So grab your tea, sit tight, and let's get into it. Hey besties, welcome back to the channel where we spill all the hottest tea on your favorite celebs and TV shows. Today's video is all about Carl Anthony Payne, the man who made us laugh as the lovable goofball Cole on Martin. But after that show got canceled, things took a wild turn. You think you know where this story is headed? Think again. So, Carl Payne, yeah, that's right, Cole, was at the top of his game during the 5-season run of Martin. Millions of people tuned in to see his goofy antics, but when Martin ended in 1997, things didn't go as planned for Carl. Instead of immediately landing more acting gigs, Carl found himself struggling to make ends meet. And what did he do? He started selling used cars to pay the bills. Yep, you heard that right. Hollywood star one day, hustling on a car lot the next. It was a tough time for him. But Carl, ever the resilient one, said, "I did what I had to do." And here's where things get even more interesting. While Carl was figuring out his next moves in life, he was also raising Bobby Brown's son. Yep, his wife Malika used to be with Bobby, and they had a son together, Landon Brown. So when Carl and Malika tied the knot in 1992, Carl became a stepdad. And honey, the co-parenting situation between Carl and Bobby Brown? Surprisingly smooth. Carl once joked in an interview that there were mornings when Bobby would come over, and Carl would be like, "It's your turn to take him to school today. I'm sleeping in." Can you imagine? Bobby Brown driving the carpool while Carl gets some extra Z's? Talk about #dad goals. But let's not forget, Carl Payne didn't stay down for long. He eventually found his way back into Hollywood, this time both in front of and behind the camera. He's produced and directed multiple projects, including the comedy series Last Call. He's the definition of, if you can't get the roles, create them yourself. We love a man who knows how to adapt. Now, if y'all missed the drama about Carl's beef with Martin Lawrence, oh honey, buckle up. These two didn't speak to each other for decades. Yup, on top of all the backstage chaos happening with Tisha Campbell, Carl and Martin had their own feud that stayed low-key, but it was bad enough to keep them apart for years. I mean, can you imagine? Working together for 5 seasons and then not talking at all? But that's not even the wildest part. One of the most fascinating bits about Carl's post-Martin life is his connection to Bobby Brown. Like I said earlier, Carl stepped into the role of stepdad for Bobby's son, Landon, and their co-parenting dynamic is an example of how you can actually make blended families work. In a 2022 interview, Carl shared how he and Bobby Brown have mutual respect for one another. And honestly, y'all, it's refreshing to see that kind of mature relationship in Hollywood. Carl's been raising Landon along with his own kids. Yes, he has 3 sons with Malika, and they're all doing great. Landon often refers to Carl as his other dad and speaks warmly about how Carl and Bobby handled raising him together. We love to see it, right? Okay, let's take a step back to 2012. After 20 years of marriage, Carl and Malika hit a rough patch, and Malika filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. But guess what? They didn't let that tear them apart. Carl opened up later about how they learned to fight the right way, focusing on growth rather than tearing each other down. And y'all, they renewed their vows and stayed strong. Relationship goals, am I right? And speaking of comebacks, Carl has been busy with several projects recently. According to his IMDb page, he's been working on different films and series, both in front of the camera and as a director. However, one project he isn't involved in, at least not yet, is the Young Martin prequel that's been making headlines. Now, fans have been speculating about whether Carl will make an appearance in the show, but there's no official word on that yet. Personally, I think the show just wouldn't feel complete without a cameo from Carl. Like, hello, we already lost Thomas McCall Ford, R.I.P. Can we at least have the rest of the original cast show up? Now, let's dive a bit deeper into this whole Young Martin situation. For those who don't know, Young Martin is a drama series based on a teenage version of Martin Payne, the character Martin Lawrence made famous. Set in modern-day Detroit, it's all about the challenges of growing up, balancing family, friendships, and of course, Martin's signature humor. Fans are buzzing about it, and while the prequel sounds promising, I'm just waiting for some confirmation on Carl's involvement because we need that nostalgia factor, y'all. But even without the Young Martin gig, Carl's been keeping busy. He's embraced his role as a director and producer, which means he's calling the shots behind the scenes. It's clear that Carl's not just relying on acting anymore, he's expanding his horizons, and we are so here for it. So, what's next for Carl? From what we've seen, he's got a lot in the works. Whether he's producing, directing, or acting, Carl Payne is is proving that you can always reinvent yourself and find success even after setbacks. Now, that's a wrap for today's video. If you've got any thoughts on Carl's journey or the Young Martin prequel, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the tea. Until next time, stay fabulous, and I'll see y'all in the next video.